Hello everyone. I know when you entered into this channel, I expect that you know at least 50% about AML KYC, which is nothing but anti-money laundering or know your customers. So as I am into this field, I would not tell that this is only a job which is paying you a salary. This is also about you are indirectly or directly, I would probably say directly, saving your country, your nation's financial system and using your legal protocols and powers to save your system and protecting your nations not only from terrorist activities but also from people who are trying to malign our financial system through their malpractices. Having said that, I will tell that AML KYC is really a very good, honest, and a very white collar job you'll do. So let us start our interview without wasting much of the time. I would like to give you certain interview questions because this is a profile where you can do IIBF certification or V-Skills certification, where I'll cover more in next upcoming videos because one video is not enough for this. Even if you don't do the certification, if you go through these videos one by one, I don't think you will have to do any kind of certification. Proper knowledge is enough to clear the interview. And I know most of them will be confused, like what educational background we need to have to clear the interview. I would tell that any educational background. You might be commerce, you might be arts, BTech graduate, anyone can come into this. Just you need to be sure that you are interested for this profile, because in the beginning only I have told that this is not only a job, you are protecting your country against malpractices like the CBI is doing in our country or the FBI is doing in other country in different forms. You are financially protecting through the legal powers you got, using them and doing your own work in your own way. So this is a back-end thing where the bank does, but yes, you are checking it thoroughly. You're checking each and every aspects of a person before opening its account. And going forward with that, I would stop myself here and start with the interview questions. So let's start our interview questions one by one. We'll start with one of the most basic thing in interview, in every interviews, introduce yourself. So I would expect each and every listener in this for this video to make their introducing yourself question very short and crisp, not too long, not mentioning their hobbies, from which state they belong, because the interviewer is not interested in that. The interviewer in these questions want to know that why are you and how are you fit into this job role. So you can tell about your skills, you can tell how and why are you interested for this job role. You can tell that this is a very lucrative job, lucrative in the sense that you are indirectly or directly providing security to your nation or to the bank by reviewing the customer's profile, by checking their transactions, which is really very interesting to know. If the customer is not into any sanctions or prohibited or risk countries, that is very interesting to know. For this reason, I am also trying to do certain certifications from IIBF. I'm also trying to do certifications from V-Skills. Explain like this and try to, not I will say manipulate, but try to play with your words in a very short period of time. I would tell you that you can take the help of Google, that how to introduce yourself in this job role. You can add things like you are a very patient person. You can verify how you can verify all the documents, so that the interviewer make this thing very convincing, so that the interviewer will become convinced with whatever you say. Next question: daily activities in your work. Like this is for experienced candidate who are working in Indian banks, but want to switch into KYC. And also one thing, that this KYC AML jobs are mostly into foreign banks. So sometimes what happens, they don't prefer candidates who are already in Indian banks. Yes, but I would not say that not, they don't take them. They hire Indian banking candidates in bulk also sometimes, because they have a banking knowledge. So if you are working even in bank, you can tell that how your day starts. It's like into two phases. My team leader assigns me with some of the cases. If the project is in CDDI stage, means initiation stage, the banking documents in that case, suppose the case ID is X, and in that case, I would first check which entity type the case is, then I will review the case. Then I will find that what are the necessary documents which is needed from the customers, and if anything is required from the customer, I'll what I will do, I will keep the case on hold and ask my TL that will go for a outreach. Outreach means customer outreach. And remember, when you are saying that customer outreach, you are sending the case profiles to the relationship manager of that bank, and the relationship manager will go to the customer. Then they will give the necessary documentation, whatever is needed, whatever is pending. Then after it is coming from outreach to me, then the case becomes the main part, which is remediation. After CDDI remediation, the analyst moves the case to the QC, and the QC reviews it again, and they send it to the bank. So my everyday duty is, my TL assigns me 5 cases. I'll check the 5 cases within a stipulated time. If any outreach is required, I will get back to the relationship manager, and after 2 to 3 business days, they will get back. And if the customer, it depends upon when the customer responds. And after the customer response, I will take on the following process. So this is my everyday work. I hope I'm clear. And if you are not, if you get any doubt from this question, you can write it in the comment section so that I can be specific with your doubts. And the third question, difference between AML and KYC. So I would tell that KYC is a part of AML. No, KYC is know your customer process. It is performed to verify the identity of new customer and to prevent illegal activities such as money laundering or fraud. And KYC is undertaken as part of anti-money laundering. See, anti-money laundering is to protect the money laundering. Money laundering, counterfeit terrorism, and terrorist financing, counterfeit notes, all comes under anti-money laundering only. So if anything like this happens, you are there. Suppose your project is in UK, your project is in US, and all banks, they have different rules and protocols, different documentations. You need to go through all of them and start reviewing each and every cases as per those documents, and then you can proceed. It depends upon like some other factors also. If they are doing business in with any of the prohibited sanction countries or high risk countries or sanction countries, later we will know. But if you ask me what is the difference between AML and KYC, KYC is a part of AML. To make the legal system robust, we need to know the anti-money laundering guidance. And obviously, you can tell that KYC is undertaken as part of anti-money laundering requirements. The next question is, how do you identify PEP? PEP is politically exposed person. Politically exposed person are those who are very influential people, those who can influence people. So there is a list called the SDN list, Specially Designated Nationals list. In that list, we get a list of blocked persons who, if we find that he is a PEP, he or she is a PEP, then yes, we are not going forward with the documentation process. I will also cite example for this. Recently, there is an ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, and European countries supporting the Ukraine. What they did, they start imposing sanctions on Russian finance minister, top-notch minister, those who are influential people. I want you to cite all this example because it will help you to convince the interviewer further to know that yes, you are studying beyond the question and answers only. It is you are really interested in the subject. So start googling it. You will know much more about what are PEP and how will you know that. What is sanction countries? What are the sanction list? These are very important questions. If you do more research on it, you will know more about it. The next question is, what are the regulatory and registry bodies in different countries? So in India, we have Reserve Bank of India. In USA, it will be something other. In UK, it will be something. So it depends. So you can Google it, which other countries are the regulatory countries, because this question is not that much important. But yes, I would ask you to know about UK and US, because maximum of the time the project is from US or UK. But apart from US, UK, I will ask you to go for UAE. And suppose you are working for UK and you find a company operating in France, then what will you do? You will go to the overseas registry. In overseas registry, for every country there is a registry. Like for UK, we are having UKCH, which is a government owned certified website where you can find information for all the companies out there. Like all countries have different website like this, and they are having registered that. So you can go into their website and check it. Okay. So what do you know about CDD and EDD? So CDD is customer due diligence, EDD is enhanced due diligence. CDD is customer due diligence. If you start with the documentation process, you get the IDB properly, you have a proper match, you have no hits in the screening process. So not an issue. So the next question is, what is the difference between source of fund and source of wealth? So let me start with the example. If I ask you, who is your source of fund? You will tell that it might be your father, it might be your mother, it might be your brother or sister. What if you tell me that your source of fund is Osama bin Laden? It will create a havoc in my mind. It will create a question in my mind that how? And then I will start seeing all your transactions that, oh my God, Why is he having the source of fund? Why he's taking cash? Why he's taking funds from a terrorist? Obviously, you are into some of malicious activities. So source of fund is the origin of the money used in a particular transaction, while source of wealth is the origin of all the money a person has accumulated over their lifetime. So source of fund, if I am starting a business, I will see that I'll take funds from any organization. It could be an angel investor, it could be any government agency, it could be from government, it could be loan, it could be buyouts, it could be personal investment and personal savings. But yes, if I am doing this KYC AML thing, I need to know this from where the fund is coming. If the fund is from a organization which is comes into screening, then yes, it will trigger additional questions. This is some additional information I am providing you, but if the interviewer asks you what is source of fund, you can tell that source of fund is the origin of the money used in a particular transaction, while source of wealth is the origin of all the money a person has accumulated over their lifetime. I hope you got this. And source of fund and source of wealth checks are an essential element of KYC and part of anti-money laundering recommendations laid out by the Financial Action Task Force, FATF. You need to know this. I hope you get all this. Having said that, let's go to the next question. Next question is, what are the documents required to open an account, corporates or financial institution? See, these questions need a proper video because so many people will watch this video, and I cannot be specific to any of the countries because I work for UK. You might get an interview call for cryptocurrency, or you might get call from US client. So it will depend. If you want to know about the documentation, you can Google it and find the answers. But if you have to wait for 2 days, then I'll surely make a video like bifurcating country wise and individual financial intermediaries wise. I'll make a proper video on this question because this is an analyst thing. And when you enter into a company, there are in AML KYC there are two profiles. And not two, I would tell. Yes, obviously two, analyst and QC. And the next is SMEs, like subject matter experts are there. So I think these documentations are very important. I'll cover it in the next video. So the next question is uh, what are sanctions? Okay, so sanctions means restrictions in simple terms. But in technical terms, I will tell that sanctions refer to a variety of measures imposed by one country or a group of countries against another country, organization, or individual to encourage a change in behavior, punish non-compliance with international norms or laws, or achieve specific policy objectives. Like who imposes these sanctions? United Nations, European Union, and OFAC by the US. What is the full form of OFAC? It is Office of Foreign Asset Controls. So, what is sanction? Why these three organizations impose sanctions to protect the country from, to protect the country's sovereignty and integrity against nuclear proliferation, to curtail the nuclear proliferation, counter terrorism and human rights violation, prevent escalation of or conflicts against other countries. Like there are list of uh, sanctions watch list are also there. Like if individuals or organization engaging in illegal activities can end up on these sanction list or watch list, means certain activities are there. So that if these three organizations, UN, EU, European Union, and the OFAC sees, they might put you or they will put you in the sanction list. What are the activities? Money laundering, drug trafficking, human rights violation, arms proliferation, violation of international treaties, terrorism and terrorist financing. If your country is into all this, yes, these three organizations will put sanctions on you so that you don't interfere or try to malign other countries through your malicious activities. So what are the sanction countries you need to know? North Korea, obviously, Libya, Iran, UK, Cuba. These are certain sanction countries which I remember in my tip of mouth. You can Google it for, to know about more sanction countries, but if you explain this much, yes, the interviewer will be convinced. Now, the next question is, what are the layers of money laundering? This question also requires to be covered in one video where specific things will be looked into. But I'll cover some things like the three layers of money laundering are placement, layering, and integration. What is placement? It is nothing but where the illicit funds enter the legitimate financial systems. Suppose I am a fraud, okay, and I go to the financial institution to place that fund. Which is the financial institution? Might be banks, NBFCs. I'll go there with my fund. So entering the financial system is like placement. If I go to open an account or something, if I take that as placement, layering, where the funds are moved around to create confusion and distance them from their criminal origin. I will go with my funds and I will buy a land, and that land is by from one of the person X. Then yes, the origin is gone. And the last stage, integration, where the money is reintroduced into the economy in a way that makes it appear to have come from legitimate sources. If I buy a land from that illicit money, and that is purchased from Mr. X, and that Mr. X then sold it to Mr. Y, then how one will know that where is the origin? I will be very specific on this question in one of the videos, upcoming videos. I hope you'll like that video more. But for interview purposes, you know that money laundering, there are three layers of money laundering: placement, layering, and integration. The next question: difference between money laundering and terrorist financing. So money laundering can be of any type, but terrorist financing has a motive. What is that? Terrorism. I would buy weapons. I will break the nuclear proliferation rules and laws. I'll do all things which whose end result will be only and only terrorism. That is terrorist financing. And terrorist financing, remember, can be done through smaller amount. It does not need lakhs and crores of money for starting a terrorist activity. Even through small, your 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 15 rupees, it would come from any of them, any individual, any company. That is terrorist financing. They have a motive behind it. But money laundering can be anything. Now we are coming to a last question. What is FATF? What is FINRA? What is FinCEN? What is FATCA? But there is a catch. I've explained you from first question to the last question. But yes, I will wait for your suggestions. I'll wait for you to answer the last question because it is all about Googling it and it will create an impact on me that are my listeners interested in this subject or not? Because as I've already said in the starting, that this is not a job only. This is your own interest in knowing the financial crime laws, rules, and or protocols. This is a very interesting subject, and I want to know how much interested you are. So the last question is in your head, and I would like everyone to answer in the comment section what is FATF, what is FINRA, what is FinCEN, and what is FATCA. I hope and I wish that you have liked this video. And for upcoming short videos on proper questions, in specific questions, I'll come up again if I get a proper good response. Waiting each and every listeners for the last question answer. See you in next video again. Bye.